YouTube, what it do, man? It's your boy Benji, and we are back in Between the Ropes. If you're new, please don't forget to subscribe. And I'm sorry, the word subscribe is a beautiful word because, bro, we've over 600 subs. We keep growing. Look, I appreciate y'all, man. You know what? Come on. Give me a hug, man. Stop playing, bro. Act like we not family, man. Act like we not family. We family now. Come on. Cut lights. What's wrong with y'all, man? Anyways, we're in Quebec for this episode of Raw. I just thought about the episode, and man, I ain't gonna lie. My emotions just kind of started to dwindle. Let's just go ahead and talk about what we saw. The show opened up with CM Punk as he walks out to the ring and lets the world know he's going to break Seth Rollins' legs after he takes the title back. Straight to it. It isn't too long before LA Knight's music hits and he walks to the ring with his hand extended and the two guys shake hands. He gets on the mic and spits facts. CM Punk ruined LA Knight's title match. CM Punk has a problem. He's selfish. And he's willing to ruin everyone else's day in order to prove a point. Bro, I've been mentioning this for a while. I don't know why anybody's on the side of CM Punk. Could be a Chicago thing, I don't know. Both of these guys want the belt, and you can feel the tension here. But it's like a weird tension. Like, these dudes keep touching each other. Paul Heyman shows up with the BRONS after LA Knight says he will allow Punker to be the first W of a championship reign. Bronson Reed is wearing Roman shoes around his neck like he's one of the Migos members. And Mr. Heyman issues a challenge to these guys. A match between the four of them. The ego of CM Punk leads to him deciding to accept the tag match against the BRONS. And, okay, I'll allow this because, like I said, CM Punk is very emotional and he's a very impulsive guy. LA Knight's kind of upset by this because he's like, yo, don't talk for me. He just wants a shot at the title. Punk just wants to fight. All in all, Braun Breaker saved this promo because while he was being held back, he's yelling at these guys facts. Like, you're 40, you're 47, you guys together are 100, you old, and he's going off. It was kind of funny. But, like, again, if you had to ask me, this promo was kind of a waste of my time. So, it doesn't really make sense that we're getting this match, but I can at least agree that there's some budding tensions between the members of this match. Benji, what match are you talking about? I'm talking about El Grande Americano teaming up alongside DOMINIK MYSTERIO. And then AJ Lee and Dragon Lee teaming up. Weird pairing, but at the end of the day, there were some dope moves in this match, which in reality you can expect from these guys. But there was a point in the match where El Grande, of course, was super desperate. And he digs deep in his nuts to grab a metal plate. He catches a kick, drops the plate, and then Dom grabs the plate, grabs a mask, and supposedly, allegedly, slips the plate into his mask. He ends up dropping AJ Styles with a headbutt, and this leads to a roll-up win. I think we are all trying to understand where things are going, but I guess since the WWE is partnered with AAA, these guys will be here to stay, and they'll be booked and busy. Sami Zayn was backstage complaining to Adam Pearce about not getting the World Heavyweight Championship title match that he so-called deserves, especially at Clash of Paris. But all that complaining don't get him anywhere. It gets him a match against Rusev. And right when it looks like there's a moment where Sami's going to go ahead and win this thing with the Helluva kick, the bum line interrupts and starts beating on Sami. I'm not mad at it. That get back a mug, bro. Sometimes you gotta get your get back. And speaking of get back, in the midst of this melee, Sheamus and Rusev start fighting. And I'm talking about these dudes are going to war in the middle of the crowd. But yeah, all in all, a waste of like our time. Now, coming into tonight, many people were promised they were going to get a match between Naomi and Io Sky. And Anyways, I do find it funny that once Io was without a championship belt, she starts getting the opportunity to fight matches. It's like everybody remembers that she's a wrestler. Because remember, when she was champion, she fought nobody. Anyways, yeah, apparently Naomi's injured, so this ended up turning into a run-of-the-mill match versus Roxanne. The match was, but I will say, Roxy got all in to all the heel tactics. She did do a good job entertaining me. Roxy was pulling the tarp from the ring to distract the ref so she could poke Io's eyes. She tried to do, things like using the ropes and spent a lot of time celebrating after doing a nice move. So at the end of the day, the ending of this match was a nice swerve to get us into a potential Kabuki Warriors feud, but ding, ding, ding. This was dumb. Something I noticed too is that while I was watching Roxanne trash talk in the middle of the match, I can't really remember her cutting to any promos on the main roster, or really anything memorable, if that's the case. End of the day, I'm really just confused what Roxanne is even after. Now, strangely enough, even though Roxanne only held the upper hand in a small portion of this match, Io showed us why she's a former champ. She started gaining momentum, and while the ref was distracted dealing with Raquel, the Kabuki Warriors showed up and start intervening in the match, attacking Roxanne, which made no sense to me. I don't understand why, because like I said, Io was winning the match. And then these fools just decide to hang out on the apron, and since they think this is the hangout spot, Roxanne clears them off the apron by doing a slight love tap to Miss Io Sky, knocking these fools out of the ring. This actually led for Miss Roxanne to roll up Io Sky and get the win. I really don't even know what's happening, but I will allow this to play out. I don't know what this means for Roxanne. And again, this match was kind of pointless because it doesn't really mean anything in the long, grand scheme of things. I mean, it's not like Roxanne is the number one contender or nothing like that since she won this match. She just won it, and now she has bragging rights. But at least this match is used to advance the storyline. The Kabuki Warriors argue with Io, and Io ends up pushing Asuka backstage. Oh, I'm sorry, actually the other way around. Asuka ends up pushing Io. Kairi kind of looks uncertain in the midst of the melee, and then she follows after Asuka, leaving Miss Sky standing there looking stuck. Io continues to walk backstage, dolo, catching a disgruntled Stephanie Vaquer. Stephanie's back there talking about some, you weren't the only one who was promised a title match. This might mean something though. Maybe Naomi's really done for her. Then we get Miss Rhea, who shows up to a huge pop and is sorry for Io. I literally haven't seen this type of emotion from Rhea, or at least any other emotion from Rhea, other than, that's my title, brutality, roar. So this was refreshing to see. She asks Io if she thinks she can trust the Kabuki Warriors, which in all actuality was a really dumb question. They were a faction for a long time. Rhea is just lonely and goth, and I think she wants the same thing for Io. Io tells her to stay out of it, and we're off to the next match. Well, before we get to the next match, Bayley cuts a promo on this video package detailing how she feels lost and uncertain. She actually says, I don't really know how I got here right now. Bayley, none of us do. Okay? We're all confused how you got here. Just roll with it. That's what they expect us to do. But yeah, she'll probably turn. I think at this point, I don't really care. I'm not checked in on that. This should have happened months ago. But if you had to ask me, she can't turn. She was always a bad guy. She created the Kabuki Warriors, or at the very least was a huge driving force behind them. She was the glue. I mean, she brought Io and then brought Miss Dakota Kai up. Then they booted her. But it's not like she wasn't a bad guy at heart. We then get the one match that I was excited for going into tonight. That was Miss Becky Lynch versus MAXXINE. Because, bro, finally a new challenger. Again, I'm happy that MAXXINE got some TV time. And she ended up getting what we thought was going to happen. She took home an L. But hey, she is certainly improving. And I do like that her growth is tied to her character. She's learning under Natalya. And I do like the fact that she came out and was filled with fear. But once she started to land some strikes, she got more and more confident. But yeah, Becky is actually amazing as a heel. She really accentuates moments in the ring and was so amazingly cocky. I really like this entirety of this match because it was like, Becky was like, bro, I don't even see you as worthy competition. And then when things started to get rough and rowdy, she immediately had to break out, the bag. She got in that bag and did that manhandle. I'm sorry, the arm, whatever her joint is called, the submission move, and instantly Maxine taps out. Great work from Miss Becky. And this is what I've been talking about, though. There's plenty of matches where there are certain messages that could come across in the middle of the match. Especially if you're talking about things that we don't really have the storyline to develop. I'm kind of breezing through this episode. I really don't even want to talk about the New Day and Penta segments. They're just dumb. It's just repetitive TV. Penta is always in somebody's business. The New Day will continue to insult the city that they're in. Nothing to see here. Woods will fight Penta next week. I don't get what the purpose is for Grayson Waller to be following these dudes around. Why would you cut loose a tag team partner to join another team? At least join a team or somebody with some motion. Like maybe the Judgment Day. Or the Vision. Why are you hanging around with the New Day? Yeah, that was literally me. Most of this episode. Anyways, our main event is CM Punk and LA Knight versus the BRONS. And really, instead of the BRONS fighting meaningful matches, they're just lackeys. They're wasting time with CM Punk and LA Knight. Maybe they don't know they're being used by Seth in order to solely accomplish his goals. And they're willing to go along with the plans because they like violence. But it's like I said before. They could be tag champs. They could be going after singles titles. They're wasting time. Of course this match ends in disqualification or no contest. Seth intervenes, whooping on CM Punk. Then Jey Uso. Yeah, Jey Uso. Comes out to save the day for some strange reason. I don't know who he thinks he is. Mind you, I really didn't even want to talk about it, but he did cut a promo prior to this match backstage with LA Knight. His reasoning for not being there last week was because he had family issues that he needed to handle. It wasn't like his family member, Roman Reigns, was getting beat in the arena. Whatever. Anyways, the promo he cut backstage was terrible. At least LA Knight was there, so it didn't look as terrible, but it was bad. Jey Uso was like fumbling over his words. He's trying so hard not to smile. I don't even know what he's got going on. But yeah, weird moment, man. He comes out there with a chair. I literally can't believe he's sliding behind CM Punk, but not Roman Reigns. Seth delivers a series of stomps, and I think that, or at least I'm hopeful that, one of those stomps that he hits Jey Uso with help clear out his brain. They help knock some sense into him. Adam Pearce then walks out onto the runway after Seth and the BRONS start walking away. He announces that Seth will have to defend his title in a fatal four-way match against Punker, LA Knight, and Jey Uso. I don't know how Jey wormed his way into this one. I don't really feel like checking. I also get that Seth Rollins is supposed to be solely a moniker when we're talking about his faction's name, The Vision. But how are they in the future when this dude's in subservience to Adam Pearce? Like, Roman used to laugh in the face of Nick Aldis. Like, I get it, this dude is a GM, but the dynamic here is if Seth Rollins is just some regular old dude. It doesn't even make sense, or at least I don't get why Seth Rollins even interfered in this match. In a promo right before this match, he mentioned that he was finally free of drama and problems, including a CM Punk problem. Or at the very least, the BRONS were going to be distractions from his real life problems. Long story short, this dude created a bunch of problems for himself because he couldn't keep his hands and feet to himself and because he decided to interview in this match. He and CM Punk are much more alike than they are different. All in all, this Raw was eventful. JK. It was event like nothing went on. It was eventless, uneventful, boring. If you thought you were gonna see your women's champ, you did not get that. But let's say she's hurt. My condolences to Miss Naomi. I hope that you get well soon. Lyra said something backstage too. Don't really care. Let's move on from these scrubs. Let's give somebody else TV time. This episode in totality was a nay. I can't really defend it. You know, I like to rate everything yay, nay, okay, somewhere in the middle, but nah, this is nay. I'm good on it. I don't need to watch it again. It probably won't matter to me anyways in a few months. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this episode. Peace.